obviously, it means everything to me. The first thing I can think about, obviously, is the Bengals organization, Mike Brown, Katie, and Troy, allow me to fulfill a childhood dream of playing, in the NFL. So to start with that, and then obviously my success, I dictate that obviously to all those who have been fans of mine throughout the years, because without them, there would be no me. So, the fans themselves have been the meat and potatoes to my success. And I'm just happy. I'm happy to be in the ring of honor. And I'm glad to be in it when I can still smell those flowers. So it's truly an honor. And I'm gracious.
Chad, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Um, is this the top of the mountain for you? I mean, you've come a long way, man. You worked hard. There was a dream you had as a kid, and now to get to this place, where does this rank for you?
At the very top. At the very top. Cincinnati, the organization, the fans, they embraced me, my true, authentic, organic self. They didn't want me to change. They didn't try to conform me to be someone that I wasn't. They allowed me to be myself. And for that to me is what means the most. This is why being inducted into the Ring of Honor, why I was able to be myself and entertain the fans throughout the years. This is really dope. This is a really, really good feeling.
Thank you. I'll ask real quick, is that a victory cigar of sorts in this moment?
Yes, yes. I mean, yeah, I am celebrating at a cigar bar. I'm the only one here, so it's pretty quiet. I mean, listen, I have a cigar a day since the '90s, so I'm not sure if we could consider this really a victory, more so a routine.
Yeah, thank you.
Chad, is there a specific moment? I know it might be hard to nail it down to one that you feel like really summed up your time as a Cincinnati Bengal?
That's a good one. Oh man, a specific moment. That would be hard because there were so many good moments. There were so many great moments for me, not just myself. For the team. There were highs and lows. Um, I mean, my best moment I can think of would have to be draft day. It would have to be nothing tops that. Nothing tops that feeling. Nothing tops that experience. Nothing tops that moment in itself. And all the hard work finally paying off and being able to get drafted.
Chad, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Butchie.
Chad, do you remember the catch against Kansas City in 05 when you guys no, 09, when you guys clinched the division? It was the back of the end zone. It was a third or fourth down red zone, and it was kind of a classic. You had your toes up and kept it in. It's hard to go back and remember some of these catches, but I'm wondering if that one actually won the division. Does that stick in your mind at all?
No, not really. I'm trying to see if Hobbs, correct me if I'm wrong. When I did score that touchdown, did I put up the 1 and 5 for Chris Henry? I'm trying to see if that was
you did.
Okay, I remember that. I remember exactly now. I know exactly what catch you were talking about. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Flowers was his last name. Flowers was covering me.
For the Chiefs. For the
yes.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I do remember now. Yes,
and then, but you remember because of Chris.
I do remember. I remember because of Chris, because I remember scoring. I remember the route itself. It was more so. It was like a diagonal from the outside. It was a diagonal, and I came in, and I remember catching. I remember throwing up the 1 and 5, but I didn't know it was a clinch division. I didn't remember that part.
Chad, Boomer just talked about the franchise kind of, as it evolves and kind of being in this century now. How much differently does this franchise feel compared to when you were here? Because, I mean, it wasn't really that long ago that you played for them. What's it like to kind of see it now compared to when you were here?
Man, it's awesome. It's a joy to see how far they've come from top to bottom, especially with the product on the field. Obviously, with the addition of Joe Burrow, me as a fan and fans of Cincinnati have to understand that we will be in contention every single year. Every single year, come hell or high water, regardless of what pieces might change offensively or whatever changes defensively. As long as we have Joe at the helm, we will always be in contention and have a chance at that Lombardi Trophy. That is a great feeling. That's a great feeling for me, and it's a great feeling for the fans in Cincinnati.
Chad, when did you come to that realization about Joe that he was that level of quarterback and was going to keep the Bengals at that level as Super Bowl contenders year in and year out?
His second year and coming in off an injury and getting us to the chip. You know how difficult that is to do in such a short amount of time with no true experience at the highest level, to be able to do something like that and then do it with no type of, what's the word I'm looking for here? With no type of stress, it looks like. To be able to play the quarterback position in such a calm manner at such an early stage in your career, it's like he's been here before almost, in a sense, you know? And he's special. There are not very many quarterbacks like that in the NFL. It's a handful of them that will have you in contention year in and year out, and he's one of those.
Chad, two questions here for you. One, the coaches that stood out in your career, and also going in with Boomer Esiason.
Listen, going in with Boomer is phenomenal. It's a great honor to go in with Boomer Esiason. Obviously, we know what he's meant to the organization throughout the years, during his time and during his tenure there. What was the second question?
The coaches that stood out for you, the coaches that stood out in your career.
This is awesome. I'm glad you asked me that. The coaches that stood out, that have had a tremendous amount of help, obviously, with my success and development, not just as a player, but as a man in general. Listen, I'm gonna start with Dick LeBeau and Alex Mushagan. Coach Alex Wood, Mike Shepard, Marvin Lewis, obviously, Bob Burkowski, most definitely, and Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson has been huge in my development, not just as a player, but as a man, being a father figure for me. Him and Marvin have been, even still to this day, in my life in such a way to where it's almost like guidance, to make sure I do things right, man. So they've been tremendous for me. Obviously, Zach Taylor, with me not being part of that team, but Zach has always had open arms in everything that I've done, and being always been welcoming me when I've come. So it still feels like, even though I'm not playing, it still feels like I'm part of the Bengals. The organization themselves, Mr. Brown, Troy, and Katie, Elizabeth, them always embracing me, as I do them, from afar. It's been dope, which is why I praise the organization every chance I get.
Chad, do you ever feel like your personality overshadowed the greatness of your football talent?
And I'm glad it did. Because I didn't care about stats. I didn't care about numbers. I didn't care about all that stuff. I played the game of football the same way I played it when I played at Liberty City Optimists. When I played in high school, I just had fun. I was about having fun. I was about entertaining. The numbers were going to take care of itself. Obviously, the end goal is to win a Lombardi. I wasn't able to attain that. I wasn't able to get that. It's a team sport, but what I did is I did my job to the best of my ability and entertain the masses. And that's all I cared about, doing what I could do to make football fun again in Cincinnati. And I think I did that.
Hey, Chad, it seems like there are a lot of times that you sneak into Bengals games almost, where you show up unannounced and there you are all of a sudden in the front row. Do you know exactly how many Bengals games you went to last year, roughly?
Last year I went to two. I always go to two. I went to one. I go to one home game, and I go to a playoff game. And obviously, I'm trying to keep that consistency going each year.
Do you have any interest in going to a Bengals game in Kansas City on New Year's Eve? Is that something that you would pursue?
No, I don't really like going to away games and sitting with the opposing fans. Even though it's love regardless of where I go. I prefer watching us at home, if I do go, but if we're away, I'll probably watch on TV.
And the last thing I'll ask you is about Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Obviously, there's debate right now. Joe Burrow is 3-1 against Mahomes. He's won 2 Super Bowls. How does that debate get settled for you?
Listen, on the field, the debate always gets settled on the field, and at some point, it will even out where Joe will have a Super Bowl or two, and that's just what's going to happen.
Who's the best wide receiver?
Oh, is there a touchdown celebration that you never got to do that you had in your pocket that now you can kind of let us know, had I done this, this was in queue?
Yeah, I remember the game too. It might have been 2005. The last game we played might have been Kansas City, and we played in Kansas City. We played in Arrowhead, and I remember Patrick Surtain was there, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but you guys remember the easy button from the Staples commercial?
Yes.
When you push the easy button, it says that was easy. I remember I put the easy button in the north and south end zones under the goalposts. And I wasn't able to score that game. I think I had a decent game, but I wasn't able to score. But if I was able to, I was going to score, grab the easy button and run to Carson and just have him press it. And, you know, and that was the whole concept behind that one. And that was the only one I wasn't able to do.
Is there other celebrations that stand out over the years?
The only one that stand out that I like the most, obviously, was the Hall of Fame jacket and the marriage proposal. Obviously, with the Hall of Fame jacket, I felt at that point I had crossed the 10,000-yard mark when I caught that ball, if I'm not mistaken. And at that point, I felt I was Hall of Fame worthy. I understand the politics that come with the Hall of Fame and how they judge on who they let in. It's a toss-up. But at that point, I felt I was Hall of Fame worthy. So I didn't need their validation or their acceptance. As far as I'm concerned, I put myself in, and that's how that goes.
Will there be a special celebration come September that you'll get to share again with the fans in Cincinnati?
No, probably not. Probably not. I mean, just an I love you to everybody. Thank you to everybody. And I'm assuming I could probably officially retire now because I've been working out and hoping I get an opportunity to come back and play DB, but it looks like that's out the window now.
Why DB?
Because I'm a better DB than receiver, honestly. And I was supposed to be drafted, which many people don't know. I was supposed to be drafted as a DB. It was just unfortunate circumstances. I came in as a receiver. We just had too many DBs at the time, so I couldn't switch positions.
Who is the best receiver in the league right now?
1A, Devontae Adams. 1B, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. It's very hard to determine when you say the best. And obviously, I put Devontae Adams first because of the consistency over the years, even leaving Green Bay and going to a new organization and still maintaining that production. But up next, you know, when Devontae is done, is Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson by none. It's not even close.
What's it like watching T and Jamar kind of, you know, take the mantle from a franchise had a lot of great receivers, and what's the relationship been like with those young guys as they've kind of gotten accustomed to the league?
Listen, the relationship with them has been very, very fun. It's been great. I'm sure they're sick of me texting. I'm sure they're sick of me FaceTiming all times of night, just regardless. I bother them for no reason. I bother them for no reason. It's like all of you have kids, and whenever you get your kids' phones and your kids just call you for no reason, that's a problem I have with them. I hit them randomly just for no reason, and just being able to watch them, man, and me not being too far removed, you know, from the game, man, it's a joy just to watch them play, to interact, to talk with them, to challenge them, you know, feeling like I can cover them still, you know, to this day. And it's really dope. And them as well, they've been accepting, you know, to me. And I mean, it's really a dope feeling. Very, very dope feeling.
Chad, is there a season or a game that stands out that you regret it turning out the way it was, whether it's a playoff loss or a performance by you that stands out?
Probably the 2005 when Carson went down. I think if Carson was able to stay upright and the situation with the knee didn't happen, we would have a Lombardi. We would have a Lombardi trophy. Obviously, I would have liked the back-to-back Jets game to have been different on my part from a production standpoint. But obviously, I was going against arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, outside of Dion, you know, DBs at that time, and Revis, and that's pretty much it. You know, I played a very long time, and that was probably the one instance I didn't do what I was supposed to do to help my team win.
Chad, your feet and your footwork separated
Dave,
you. Hey, what's
I love
happening?
you, Dave.
How you
How are
doing, man?
Oh, we got to
Doing
get
well.
McDonald's when I come in town.
Little Mickey D's. I love it.
Sure.
So your feet and your footwork separated you from everybody in terms of route running. I mean, you're an extraordinary route runner. Do you have a go-to route? Did you have one that you like more than any other? I mean, your ability to get both feet in bounds of the sideline was second to none. But what about a route?
My favorite route, honestly, that's a good one. Probably a curl of the dig, especially when somebody's off. But if somebody is pressed, everything is a go. Everything's a green light. I was more comfortable with somebody in my face as opposed to them being off, despite the footwork and the route running. I really like when people were in my face. It made it, for me, I felt a lot more comfortable with somebody, in the danger area as opposed to them being off.
Chad, what's the name of the cigar bar and where is it?
You know what? Hey, I'm in Long Ash. I'm in Tampa. I'm in Tampa right now. I'm at Long Ash Cigar Bar in Ybor. It's pretty empty right now. Just, you might hear a little, car driving back and forth. But, yeah, I'm in Tampa, and I'm just sitting here. I just came out the boxing gym. I have another fight coming up anyway. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Chad, how did you get into boxing? I'm very curious about this because you seem like you are very into it.
Yeah, I've been doing this the past 23 years. I've been doing this since 2003. It was a part of my off-season routine. And that competitive nature, obviously, it hasn't gone anywhere. I had no injuries throughout my entire career, so I needed something else that provided the same structure and discipline that football did, where I have to get up and have a routine, and I need that to stay busy. And boxing provides that. The same as football. If you don't train hard, if you don't do the things necessary to be able to succeed on Sunday, you get exposed. The same thing goes with boxing. If I don't train the way I am right now, when I do fight again at some point, this year, I will get exposed. And that's what that's about.
Do you have a Spence Crawford prediction for next week?
Oh my goodness. Listen, those are both two friends of mine. I don't want to go against the grain. I'm hoping for a great fight. And whoever makes the fewest mistakes, that's who wins. I'll just say that.
Chad, no one on this call I think is going to experience it, but what's it like living at Paul Brown Stadium?
The first 2 years, it was easy. It was very easy. Obviously, coming from a college atmosphere where you didn't have much, and then coming to an NFL stadium that provides everything, it's like living in a luxurious hotel. You mean to tell me I don't have to buy a house? You mean to tell me I don't have to rent a home because you have a player's lounge with the TV, with the pinball machine, with the PlayStation, with the Xbox? Wait, you have showers. Oh my goodness, there's a cafeteria with food. Please explain to me why am I coming in as a rookie and getting a place when everything I need is right here at home at my job? It made no sense. Well, until Marvin came in and he told me it's time to grow up, be responsible, and get a place of my own so you can be a man. That was his thing. You are a man now. So I had no choice but to leave my third year.
Chad, I haven't heard you talk that much about what kind of culture shock it was going from the Bengals to the Patriots in 2011, a year you did make the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Yeah. What was that experience like for you? And how different?
It was good. Obviously, it was different from the Bengals at the time. Two different regimes, two different teams, the way they're run. There's a thing called the Patriot way. It doesn't have to be explained to you from the outside looking in. You hear it all the time, but you don't understand what it is unless you're in the atmosphere. I've never been to the Army. I've never been to the military. Obviously, I'm not a veteran. We all know that. I'm not sure if anyone else on this call has been. But if I was to make an example on what it would be like, being a part of that organization is about as close to what it's like to being in the military, as far as discipline, doing everything right the first time, understanding that one mistake cannot just cost your life, it can cost everyone else's. Obviously, this is a football. We're talking about football, but that's the way everything was run there. And then obviously having that special piece in Tom Brady made everything that much easier with the genius mind that is Bill Belichick.
Any other questions for Chad? Okay, Chad, we can't thank you enough for joining us today. Once again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So does this mean I really can't come back and play now? I guess so. Thanks. I love you guys.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Chad. I don't think any of us knew the answer. That's why we hesitated.
All right.